My voice is
Good
clear.
morning, sir.
So you know the total. What is the fourth unit? So the fourth unit is about data integrity, digital signature schema, and key management. So these are the things we are going to be discussed. So we know what is digital signature, how we are going to be transfer the data via having a digital signature. So what is the conventional signature? Then what is the digital signature? What is the difference between these two? So how we are going to be do the data integrity? So there we are going to be use the message digestion 5. So you know what is the message digestion? And here with we are going with message authentication and integrity. So what is authentication? Who is going to be authenticate the message? Who is the sender and receiver? And who is the third party? How is going to be access the data? So what are the various vulnerabilities are going to be have here? And all those things we are going to be mentioned. So data integrity, digital signature schema, and key management. So last class we discussed about what are the various types of keys are there. So how to protect a keys. So there is a three major keys we need to keep safe. One is about symmetric keys. Next one is a private keys, and third one is about hash keys. These three are there. How to protect safe about keys. So we saw these three, and we will look to overall this fourth unit once again. Uh, so I prepared a document. We will go through the document. We can remember the topics what we discussed previous and how it is useful for writing exams, and what are the topics we need to cover in the exams also, that we will discuss. So my screen is visible to everyone. Can someone answer? I think my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is a total document about fourth unit. So first we saw the same thing. So many things only we covered through PPT only. So meanwhile, I need to cover once again in the exam point of view how we want to do it. So what is the message authentication requirements? What is why we want message authentication? In the context of communication across the network, the following can be identified. So what are the things we are identified when we are doing it? So this is a disclosure and the traffic analysis, mask word, and message content modification and sequence modifications, and timing modification, and source repudiation, and destination repudiation. So these are the main things. While we are transferring the data in the network, we need to consider it. In these places, we need to know that whether the message is identified, that sender has to know that whether the message is authenticated by the sender or not. The receiver must has to know that the sender mm, has authenticated that particular message or not. He has to know that. So that is, so disclosure. What is the release of message content from any person or process not processing in appropriate cryptographic key. So without using any keys like the traffic analysis, whether the patterns are going same time of delivering is going to be happen or not. Is there any time delay? We need to consider whether because of network delay or it is someone hacked the delay. We need to identify that one. Then insertion of message, the new message may be inserted or else existing message may change, that is content modification and the sequence modification. So maybe for example, instead of sending hi how are you, you can alter that one. We can replace the original content into a different sequence modification and timing modification also. So that is if any sequence of message is going, particular delay is going to be happening between the data. That is, we know that datagrams is going to be present in data link layer. So in how we are going to be make a timing modification, or say source repetitions are there, denial of transaction may be message by the source, and the destination repetition, denial of recipient by the message by destination. These are the various message authentication requirements. So these are the places message authentication is required. So there we have message functions are there. So there is three types of message functions. One is about message encryption, and another one is message authentication code, that is MAC, and another one is about hash function. So these three are the message functions. So that is a message authentication functions. Message authentication function. So we know what is encryption. So transferring from original text to ciphertext. Then what is a message authentication code means? So a function that message secret key produced in a fixed length values that server as a authenticator. That serves as a authenticator. So that is sender has to create the secret key and is. Then another one is a hash code. So the hash code is it is going to be produce a fixed length of values, and which again the service is going to be authenticated. Then another one is, so this is a simple diagrams for message encryption and message authentication code and hash function. So I will send you this document through your WhatsApp. You can download and you can prepare for the exam also. So message encryption by itself can provide measure of authentication, and it analyzes the different symmetric and public key encryptions also. So how we are going to be do the encryption and decryption. Through a symmetric or asymmetric, you know, symmetric means we have use a one key, that is a shared key, and asymmetric means we are going to be use a public and private keys we are going to be use. So that is the simple diagrams over there. Then you know what is the meaning of symmetric. Shared key is going to be shared in between the sender and receiver. So that is a key we are going to be used. So this is a message authentication code, how we are going to be find it. So that is it is nothing but a frame check we are going to be do. We can simply call as a checksum. We are going to be find out, and we are going to be send the checksum along with the message, and later we are going to be do the encryption, and we are going to be transfer through the network. Then later in destination, the message and this frame check, that checksum is transferred, MAC we can call. If it is transferred, then how again the receiver is going to be find out the checksum, then he is going to be compare both the hash and MAC, and we have MDC also, modification detection code. So these three, it is not a reversible process. It is simply we are going to be checking, comparing whether it is correct or not in the receiver side. The internal error control and external error control. So for that theory about this one. Then here about the second one. After that we have a message encryption. This one is a message authentication code. So message authentication in the platform informed authenticated message and provide the integrity and authenticity valid assurance on the message. Integrity assurance detect the accidental and internal message changes. So that is what is input message and MAC function and shared key of communication parties A and B and MAC message authentication. So these are the, this is the function MAC equal to C of K comma M, shared key and message. We are going to be doing this. When A has a message to send to B, then the message plus MAC are transmitted to the intended, so the aimed recipient, so which person he has to send exact one, that exact recipient he has to find out. The recipient form some same calculation of the received message by using some secret key, same secret key, and generated a new message. So it is compared and calculated. So it is going to be calculated. It's not a reversible process. So that is a very very important, which I told you so many times. It is not a reversible process. It must be decryption. So for that we have a simple example. So here we have message authentication with confidentiality, and we have authentication also. So how we are going to be sent, before encryption we have to send, after encryption we are going to be find out the checksum. So that is the various ways of how we are going to be doing it. Then we have some of the situations, we the same things we discussed in the class itself. Then another one is about hash function. So this is another important thing here, is the hash function. It is one of the authentication function which accepts the variable size of messages. So that is a very very important thing. So message we cannot, for example, we are creating a message. We are not going to be thinking about whether the every message that is every word should be equal. In our general words, we can call what are the things we are going to be create, that every word should not be equal size. So if the different type of messages are there, once we are going to be take it as, then by using hash function, we are going to be fix it as fixed length of outputs we are going to be generating. So that is the main aim of hash function. A hash value h is generated by a function h. So h equal to h of m. M is a variable length message, and h of m is fixed length values, hash values. So that is called message digestion. Hash code is also referred as a message digestion or hash value. And the different hash code function and MAC is, hash code does not use a key, but the function only the input message. So this is a simple how we are going to do the hashing. So how the hash function is going to be applied, then how we are going to be transferred through network, and we are going to be do the encryption with the key. So again, in every message authentication code and hash function, these two, we are going to be compare the thing only. We are not going to be do any reversible process. So here, what is the process? That the process we have here, how we are going to be do this process. So this is another important one where hash function is required. Before we saw the requirement of message authentication. Same here, the requirement of hash function. The purpose of hash function is to produce a fingerprint of file and message or other block of data. To be useful for message authentication, a hash function h must have the following properties. H can be applied to a block of data of any size. So that is, it is always take it as input as variable size and produce a fixed length output. So every that same content only repeated here. So once variable size of h is there, then it is going to be converted into a fixed size to variable from variable length. So simple hash, how we are going to be. So in this one thing, I think these birthday attacks are there. So it may ask 2 marks what is a birthday attack. So birthday attacks are the class of brute force technique used in attempting to solve a class of cryptographic hash function problem. So birthday attacks are brute force techniques. So it is used to attempt to solve a class of cryptographic hash function problems. So these methods takes the advantage of functions which, when supplied with a random input and return one of the k equally liked values. Suppose that a 64-bit hash code is used Then if it is an encryption hash code C, encryption hash code C is transmitted with the corresponding unencrypted message M. Then the opponent would need to be M dash such that H of M dash is equal to H of M. So to be we substitute the another message and the pool for the receive. On average, the opponent would be trying to about 2 power 63. That is a 63 bit length of data we are going to be sent. The message to be find on that it matches the hash code of the interrupted messages. That is the hash algorithms are these are the hash algorithms, message digest 5, MD5, then secure hash algorithm. So here SH we have various types. Based upon the key size, we are going to be differentiate the 256, 356, and 556. We have various types are there based upon the size of the key. Then we have RIPED 160 and HMAC. We have hash message authentication code. మీకు పంపించండి సార్ మేడం అడుగుతారు మేడం okay. So message digestion algorithm, so this is firstly Ron Rivard at MIT, so Manchester Institute of Technology in 1861 is developed a MD message digest algorithm. It was developed to avoid the brute force and crypto-analytic attacks. MD5 was the most widely used secure algorithm. So it is a very secure algorithm. So how it will, what will be the logic in MD5? The input, this algorithm takes input is arbitrary length. The output produced as 128-bit message digest. Input proposed in 512 bit of block. 512 bit of block is going to be sent input, and the output is produced as 128 bit of message digest. So that is message digestion is going to be done. And so now I will show you a diagram. By that we can understand very well about this. For example, see here we have 512 bit of length is there. That is now we can divide the 512 into a different 128 bits. So the total message is going to be, so for example, y0, y1, and so on by q. So this is a message various lengths. So this is a generally this is a once we any message we are going to be sending through network, definitely through the message header, message information, and checksum, everything is added up. That is the information about here. Then why not? We have 512 bits. Then it is going to be divided into 128, 128 different fixed size of messages is going to be divided from the 128. So then now finally we are going to be get 128 bit of digest is going to be. So how we are going to be do? So this is generally we discussed about this message digestion type. For exam point of view, how we want to write. So we can directly, so message digest is going to be done at a sender side, and we are going to be transfer message digest along with the message we are transferring through the network, and receiver is going to be calculated his own message digest is going to be compared. If you write like this, you are not going to be getting more. So for this clear explanation about what is algorithm and what is the diagram, how to follow this one. So appending padding bits and appended the length and initialize the MD buffer and process the message into a 512 bits and 16 words block and output. Then appended padding bits. The original message is padded, extended so that its length in bits is 448 and modulo of 12. So you know what is modulo of 12? So we are going to be writing double lines now. In between we are going to be writing modulo. So in modulo of 5 means it will use the remainder of that particular value. modulo in computer language we can call programming language modulo, it will use the remainder of the value. So the original value always padded, and with one bit is first one, then the zero or more bits zero are padded, and to bring the length of the message, and 64 bits fewer than the multiple of 512. So the 512 is going to be divided into 64 bits. So the maximum size of is 64 bits. Then appending length, 64 bits are appended, and initializing the MD buffer, 128-bit buffer is going to be message digester is going to be come out now. So that is the 128. So how the word A is initialized, B is initialized, and C is initialized, D is initialized. So how the words are initialized like this. Then how we are going to be performed. So again we have, I think you remember that DES algorithm, AES algorithm, where we have to perform the number of rounds on keys. So whenever the number of rounds is increasing, that the key is going to be very strong. The key get very strong. So number of rounds we can perform on that particular key. Then the key gets very strong. So then output all length of 512 bits blocks has been processed, and output is L from the L stage, that is 128 bit message digest will be come out. So that is where message digest we can perform, and what are the terms you are using in that, that is the explanation. So how these message digestion comparison function, the logic of each of 4 rounds. So I told you, based upon the rounds we can have. So 4 rounds, the processing of one 512 bit block. Each round it consists of sequence of 16 steps operating on buffer ABCD. Each steps is formed as like this. So we have a formula how we are going. So now you can see the diagram. So A we are going to be having, then these remaining BCD we are going to be added G, and we are going to be perform operation. Some E is going to be happen. Then we are going to be do some filtering of the bits. Then we are going to. So then we are going to be finally we are going to be decryption. That is a elementary of message digestion from a single step. How we can perform on a single step? If ABCD is the words are any input data, how it is going to be do, and how it is performed back. So then another one is about SH secure hash algorithm. Secure hash algorithm is a family of cryptographic function. It is developed by NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology. SH is based on MD4 algorithm. So and it is designed closely model of MD5. So SH is specific RFC 3174. So the purpose is authentication, not encryption. So it's for authentication. The logic is algorithm takes the message with the maximum length of less than 264 bits only. So the produce output as 160 bits of message digest. There is 128. Here we are going to get 160. The input process is 512 block of input only again. Then same length only. So same procedure of algorithm. Appending padding bits and appending the length, and initialize the message buffer, and process of 512 bits in a 16 words of block, and then finally. So this is for writing theory purpose. The same how the MD5 compare with SH1 secure share algorithm. Then performing the number of rounds, how we are going to be do the operation. So next another one is about they mentioned RIPED MD 160. So in the RIPDMG is race integrity primitives evaluation message digest. So this is also family of cryptography function only. It is developed again. So first one is MIT lab, second one is NIST lab, this one is a COSIC. So every one is going to be based upon the usage of user. They are going to be use this either message digest or SHA1 or RIPED1. So anyone. So it is just for providing authentication again here. So what is the logic here? So algorithm takes the input message of arbitrary length and produce as output in 160 bit of message digest. It produced the output as 160 bits. So the previous one also 160 bit. This is also 160 bit. The input is processed at 512 only. Yeah. So this is not the percentage. This is message digest 5. So the overall message processing structure is similar to MD5 with the block of length is 512 bit. There, but the changing variable length is 160 bits. So there is 128. There is here is 160. The same again, the same procedure how we can learn from one and we can write remaining other. But the number of rounds how we are going to be repeat, that is the different from one to another algorithms. Okay. So this is a simple difference between MD5 SH1 and RIPED. So digestion length by 120, 160, 160. So block of input processing is 512. If you remember these comparison, then we can develop your own content. So same algorithm steps is uh, as similar as all those things are same, but we need to know about what is the digestion length, and we have to remember what is the input basic unit of processing. We have to remember the number of steps we need to perform. See that I told in the first MD5 we have performing 64. That is 4 in rounds are 16. Then this one is 4 rounds of 20. There's this one 5 pair rounds of 60. So then when we perform number of rounds, then the digest size will be very high. So the maximum size is here infinity. Here we have a 261 bit, and here the 264 1 bit. Then the primitive logic functions are 4, 4, 4, and 5. And the adaptive content used is 64 here and 4 and 9. So Indian names are here the little Indian and big Indian and little Indian are. So this is a buffer. Then another one is about HMAC, hash-based message authentication code. Hash-based message authentication code is a special construction for calculating MAC. So how we are going to be involved. So hash is separate and MAC is separate. How we are going to be do both at the same time. So by doing both, we can have authentication and confidentiality both at a time. So that is why we are going to be used. MAC used simultaneously for verifying both integrity and authentication of message. So hash function such as MD5, RHA1, SHA1 and used to calculate the HMAC. The resulting MAC algorithm is termed as HMAC MD5 or HMAC SHA1. So for calculating MAC along with hash function, it may be hash function, maybe MD5 or SHA1. So that the combination we are going to be calculating. The strength of MAC is depend upon the underlying of hash function, the size of its hash function, and the size of quality of keys. Size of quality of keys. So this is the hash function diagram, the HMAC, how the structure of HMAC. So then another final important thing is about a digital signature. So digital signature schema is a mathematical schema for demonstrating authenticity of a digital message or a document. Digital message or a document. So providing authenticity of a digital message or a document. So generally how we are going to be do the signature on the document. So the same thing how we are going to be do digitally signature on digital documents. That means digital signature is an authentication mechanism that enables the creator of message to attach the code that act as a signature. to attach the code. So we are going to be attach one code to that message. So that code is known as act as a signature. This signature is formed by taking a hash of the message and encrypting the message with creator's private key. The signature guarantees the source and identifier of the message. The signature identify the source and the integrity of the message. So who is sending this message? Who is the exact authentication done on this message? Who is the exact sender? Everything is going to be. The digital signature standard DSS, digital signature standard in NIST National Institute of Standard Technology stands that the user secure hash algorithm uses the secure hash algorithm message here. So that is a digital signature. So now we found some of the hash functions. No? That function we can create one code. That code we are going to be added to our digital message such that the message is going to be called. That message is secure with a digital signature. So for that, for standard NIST is going to be used SHA for the code generation. That code is known as a digital signature. Where it is used, generally where it is used. So message authentication protects the two parties who exchange the message from any third party. However, it does not protect the two parties against each other. Against each other. For example, we can see some examples. Suppose the John sends the authenticated message to Mary using any authentication schema. So that is symmetric or public key cryptographic. Any key is going to be used. The two disputes, crash or fight or argument could arise. Something message, something crash is happened. So Mary may force the different message and claim that it is come from the John. It means Mary would simply have a create a message and appended an authentication code by using the key which the John and Mary shared. So, how the if the message something is modification done by the third party, that may leads to quarrel in between the two parties. So each and every time the receiver is asking, yes, you only send this is your code, this is your secret key. That's why I done. You only send this message. That every time he is going to be argue on that you only send. Then John can deny the sending of message because it's a possibly married to force that John did not unpack and send the message. Did not pack that sending message. We don't know whether he is not in sending messages. So he is not giving any particular claim to that I did not send. So who is the third party is change the exchange the message. So that is the properties of a digital signature. It must verify the author and the date of the time of the signature. So here when the data is created and when the signature is created. So that is a code is generated. Signature in the sense we are going to be called here as code is generated. It must authenticate the content at the time of the signature. So again, so whenever the message is created is no problem. When the message is ready to transfer, that time we are going to be create a signature. That time it is definitely it is going to be authenticate whether the sender is to response that message is created by him or not. So that is a message authentication. It must be authenticated at the time of the signature. That means the code is generating that time the message is going to be authentication again. It must be verified by the third parties. Verifiable by the third parties to solve the disputes. So digital signature requirements again how we saw the hash function requirements and the previous one, message authentication requirements. Same here, we have some of the digital signature requirements are there. The signature must be a bit pattern that depend upon the message being signed. So what is the size of the message and how we are going to be sending this? The signature must be used the same information unique to the sender to prevent both forgery and denial. The signature must use some information unique to the sender to prevent from both forgery, and is that means forgery means putting the same as, and denial means uh, not to accept that message. So for that both reasons we have a signature must have same information as the, it must be relatively easy to produce the digital signature. It must be relatively easy to produce the digital signature. And another one, it must be relatively easy to recognize that the verify the digital signature. And it must be conceptual, infeasible to forge a digital signature either by constructing a new message for an existing digital signature by the constructing a broadened digital signature by a given message. It must be practical to retain a copy of digital signature in storage. So these are the main requirements when the need of digital signature. So approaches for these digital signatures is direct digital signature and attributed digital signature. The two ways of approaching these digital signatures. So what is the meaning of a direct digital signature means? The term direct digital signature refers to a digital signature schema that involves only the communication parties. So communication parties is both the source and destination only, direct one-to-one. So the source and destination. The validity of schema depends upon the security of the sender's private key. Then sender later wishes to deny message, a particular message by claiming that private key has lost or stolen some other reason. So there is a chance of stolen a private key of the sender at some time t. So anytime the private key is misused by the sender, it is a problem. Then what is an attributed digital signature? In this, every signed message from sender X to receiver Y goes to first an attributor A. So in between we are going to be having some third party broker for securing our messages. Who is A? An attributor A who subject the message and its signature to the number of tests to check the origin and the content. The person is going to be checked whether the particular person is sending and the particular person is verified or not. So the third party person is going to be check and verify each and every time for number of tests. The message is dated and sent to the web. So in between we have some more third party persons. We are going to be asking for security to provide whether the message is getting exact from the X or not. The Y is going to be have an intention that whether the message is received by the original sender or not, we have to secure for that. He is using some other third party person in between to check this process. This process is indication that has been verified and satisfaction of the attributor. So again, we need to trust the some other person to satisfy. So by this process, it solves the direct digital signature problem. So in direct signature, so we have only two parties are going to be involved. So here the third party is going to be something we can avoid the direct process. So that is a sender X and attributor A and receiver. So here we have some of the mathematical functions where we can organize this one. So X construct the message M and compute the hash value H of M, and X is transmitted M plus digital signature. So that H of M is now a hash code now. So that is here we can call is the digital signature. So there is a M plus digital signature to A. Now the third party in between the attributor is A. So is sending to X is sending to attributor A. The signature content identified ID X of X plus hash value and all encrypted using KXA. What is the meaning of KXA? So key of sender and attribute, and it is a common shared key in between a X sender X and attributor. So that is a common key in between. Then A is decrypt the signature and checks the hash value is validated the message or not. Then it is transferred to Y by encryption with, what is the encryption with? KAY. So the common key shared between the attributor and receiver. The message include ID X, so that is the ID by the sender, and the M message and the time S time. So that is the various kernel. The message includes, so once it is sended, the message include ID of X, the senders, then the what is the message and the which time it is transferred, that everything information. So Y is the decrypt of message using by KAY. So Y is here the receiver. The receiver is going to be decrypt by using the key of shared between attributor and Y. Then X is going to be send the message and encryption key of sender and attributor, along with that is ID of X. This is the format of message. So this is the sender is sending and the attributor is checking with the ID. Then it is going to be received by the receiver by decrypting the key with the shared between the attributor and receiver. So terms you can remember. So here X is a sender and Y is a receiver. A is a. So H of M is a hash code. So that is literally here we are going to be calling as digital signature. So KXA. So that is about. So digital signature standards we have. So standards are going to be produced. The National Institute of Standard (NIST) has published the Federal Information Process Standard FIPS 186, is known as the Digital Signature Standard (DSS). The DSS makes the secure hash algorithm present in a new digital signature technique, and the digital signature algorithm DSE. So DSS approach how it will be. So we have simple algorithm. So public key and private key how we are going to be used. So all those things simple diagram. So you can remember this one. So global public key content. So that is a GPK. So prime numbers. Have you remember the RFC algorithm? Now what are the prime numbers? How we are. So this is a simple DSS signing algorithm how we are going to do. So we know in digital signature we have two parts. One is the signing algorithm and the verifying algorithm. So how we are going to be doing this is the process. So signing algorithm by using this R equal to G power K mode of P and mode of Q. Then we are going to be signing by using this algorithm. And the signature is R and S is going to be signing and is going to be transfer. In verifier is going to be verified by this. Then it is going to be transferred. So this is the simple about overview of fourth unit, how the message integrity. If you want to know the message integrity, definitely you want to know what is the message integration, message integrity, message authentication, and message digest value, and secure hash algorithm, and finally digital signature, along with key management. So this is I will send you this document through your WhatsApp. You can check it. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. I will explain once again if you want. Have any doubt? So document is sent. We can check it by end of Thursday. Behind it, you can ask me in the next class. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the next class, or else we can go through the next week. Okay? Have any doubts? You can ask me. Already sent it through your WhatsApp. Unit 4 document. You can check it and further proceed. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the next class.